At its most basic level, dialogue scene editing is the process of putting together the various lines spoken by characters in a film according to the structure outlined in a script. But editing a dialogue scene is also much more than that. Dialogue scene editing is the way an editor reveals a character's personality and develops it over the course of a film. It's the way we show relationships, control tension, display emotion, and create comedy. It's the way we tell a story through human interaction. And editing a dialogue scene is also about displaying the performances of the actors in an authentic, tasteful, and interesting way that immerses our viewers in the film. Sometimes, when working with amazing performances from talented actors, the biggest job of the editor is to simply stay out of the way and let the moment unfold on screen, putting together the various pieces of the scene with minimal involvement and manipulation. Other times, it's to mold and shape the scene to hide awkward moments and convey character development and plot points that may not be immediately obvious. Most often, our job lies somewhere in between. In this module, we're going to take a look at 4 essential skills of dialogue editing. And in the module that follows, we're going to use those skills to sculpt and enhance the performance of 2 young actors as we demonstrate the techniques in a live editing example. The first thing we'll discuss is understanding your sources and how to work with them. Crucial if you're going to achieve a professional looking and sounding result. Second is the process of establishing structure. What's the smartest and most efficient way to start building the conversation on screen? Third is splitting your edits. This is an editorial best practice that every editor should be comfortable with. We'll be taking a far deeper look into this topic than you've likely seen before. And fourth, polishing audio. How do you use your various editing tools to smooth out the dialogue to sound seamless, natural, and clear? Let's start out by looking at our audio sources. One of the first challenges you'll encounter when editing dialogue is picking the audio source you're going to edit with. That is, which microphone's audio are you going to cut onto your timeline? Often, your production will have used a few different mics. Some microphones you might see used to capture dialogue are the built-in mic, which can sound a bit like this. That is, a microphone built into your camera. Now, almost no respectable production would ever rely on this audio source, as it's likely to be pretty low quality and full of background noise. You'll want to avoid editing with this audio whenever possible. Next, we've got the handheld mic, which tends to sound a little bit more like this. This is another type of microphone you probably won't be working much with on scripted editing, but it does come into play on other projects. You might come across a handheld mic as your audio source if you're working with documentary interview footage, a concert, event, game show, or a project involving news clips. Now, for a slightly more common mic setup used in dialogue editing, you've got the lavalier mic, or lav for short. It'll often sound something like this. This small microphone clips onto your actor's clothing and can easily be hidden under a collar or thin fabric. This is a pretty good audio source to pull your dialogue from, since it does a decent job of isolating the actor's voice. Some things to look out for when cutting with lav mics, though, are that you'll often pick up a bit of cloth movement sound here and there. And the overall audio quality can tend to sound a little bit flat, lacking the richness and depth of our next audio source. The shotgun mic attached to a boom pole is often going to be your preferred audio source for pulling dialogue. It can sound a bit more like this. The shotgun mic is highly directional and does a great job isolating voices while also eliminating much of the background noise. It also delivers a fuller, richer sound than what you'll get out of your second best option, the lav. Now, there's one other audio source we haven't mentioned. ADR, or Automated Dialogue Replacement. This is audio recorded from the actors in post-production, meant to improve upon the dialogue captured on the set, either in quality, content, or both. If none of your microphone audio is sounding good, ADR is a good way to fix that. As a creative editor, you'll rarely find yourself responsible for overcutting with the ADR unless you've got a very small crew and you're wearing all the hats. Alright, so here are a couple quick tips for working with your various audio sources. When possible, You'll typically want to cut with a shotgun boom mic. Will there be times when the lavalier mic sounds better? Louder, cleaner, more understandable? Sure, but most often, it'll be the boom. Tip 2. Don't layer your dialogue sources. That is, don't try to overlay your boom mic on top of your lav mic in the hopes of getting the best of both worlds. It's not going to happen. At best, you'll end up with louder dialogue where you can hear everything, good and bad, that was recorded on the set. At worst, you'll end up with a noisy mess like this, that's plagued by phase issues because the waveforms won't line up perfectly. At least not without the touch of a professional sound editor. And tip 3. Pick the best parts of each audio source. If you've found one microphone that's sounding the best in your scene, odds are you'll stick with it for the entire scene. However, there might be times when you've got a certain word or phrase that doesn't sound too great. Let's say you're cutting with a lav mic in this case. Not surprisingly, you encounter a bit of cloth rustling that interferes with the word, making it hard to understand. If you're looking to get the best possible dialogue mix in your rough cut, you can steal syllables and words from one of your other mics to help patch up your dialogue a bit. In this lesson, we looked at 4 common microphone setups you'll likely encounter when working with dialogue. Then, we discussed some tips for working with these sources. Specifically, cut with a boom mic whenever possible. Don't directly overlay different audio sources, it'll just sound bad. And feel free to choose the best parts of each when it becomes necessary to steal a word or a syllable here and there to cut around audio problems. Coming up in the next lesson, we're going to look at how to approach building conversational structure in a dialogue exchange. All right, I'll see you in a bit.